Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I'm a bit sick and feel like absolute shite. So I'm hating my life right now, but I'm still making the video. And today we'll be going over the Battle of Kohima and Imphal, which is colloquially known as Indian Stalingrad. And now I will go into where it was fought, in which it was fought in northeastern India. And it was a turning point in the Japanese invasion of Burma, as it was a British victory of this battle, despite it being long and hard. I'll make this quick. It was fought in 1944. Alright, and we'll start off with who fought here, and of course we'll start off with the Allies, as I have always done. Alright, so we have the British Empire, or Britain, and the British Raj/India. Now we move on to the Axis, which of course consists of Japan. Alright, now I'll go over reasons why I believe that this battle would be an interesting thing to get enlisted. Alright, so one, which is more Burma content. I know this is pretty simple, but so we only have one Burma map, and it gets repetitive if you have it too much like Manchuria. I believe if we had more Burma maps, so more Burma extensions basically, it will make the game mode a lot funner, and maybe even the devs will separate it from the Greater Pacific campaign, so that if the British and American tech trees got separated, we could actually get the British not being in the Pacific, but still fighting the Japanese. Number two is, I believe that this would make a very interesting environment because of the monsoons that I've read about there being during this battle. Because I believe if we had heavy rainfall in a map, I believe one, it'll make a lot of people cry because it's going to be a pain in the ass to see shite. However, I would also argue that it would be a very fun and interesting mechanic to see in the game. Now, I will die on this hill, which is jungles are cool, and I think that more jungles will make the game significantly funner, because one, of course, the Vietnam LARP, while you would still be using World War II stuff, it's Southeast Asia. I mean, I think it could bring people into the game, just because if you had really good jungles, I think people would enjoy it a lot. As well as that, just generally, I think jungle fighting is cool. And, you know, of course, having the ability to actually use some of the camos more effectively. Since there's like the German camo, where it's like the squad with the silenced MP40, if you know what I'm talking about. They've got all of this bush stuff, which, while wouldn't be on this map, of course, I think would be useful to have, because I've seen photos of Japanese units with like foliage all over them, or those Japanese snipers that are covered in foliage, and things like that. We could get a lot more camo kind of things added to the game, which I think would make a good addition. Next up, we go into squads. Of course, starting with the Allies as usual, and then moving on to the Axis. First up, we have the 29th Worcestershire Regiment, which fought in North Africa, the Middle East, and Burma, and the unit was formed in 1881. Alright, next up, we have the 6th Gurkha Rifles, which fought in Italy, North Africa, and Burma, and the unit was formed in 1817. Now on to the Axis, which, as I have said repeatedly in the past, I cannot get insignia for the Axis, so we will just have to deal with having the words on the screen. I know, unfortunately, no pretty pictures. First up, the 58th Infantry Regiment of the Japanese Army, which fought in Burma, and the unit formed in 1907. Next up, we have the 124th Infantry Regiment of course, the Japanese Army, It fought in Burma and it was formed in 1938. Now on to equipment. First up, the Burma gun itself, the number 5 Mark I Jungle Carbine, which is a shortened down Lee Enfield that was used in, of course, Burma, and I believe was well liked by the soldiers who carried it. Alright, starting us off with the SMGs, and the only SMG that I've got here for the Allies is the Yurok Mark I, which is basically a British MP40. It was made by Dr. Yurok, who was a pretty nice firearms designer, I gotta say, from the stuff that I've seen him make. I've only seen 2 of his creations, but I think they're both very cool looking. And I, of course, got this from Slacker, so shout out to him. Alright, now for a British Raj gun, or a Indian gun I suppose is a better name, is the Lee Enfield India Pattern Mark I Star. I believe that as we do have Indian, of course in Indian territory for this battle, why not have an Indian gun, especially since we don't have one in the game, as far as I'm aware, other than sort of the Vickers Berthier. But even then, that's not like natively Indian, that was just predominantly used by India. So I believe that getting something from India would be a nice and welcome addition to the game, as well as always expanding our arsenal is always well liked. Alright, and starting us off for Japan, we have the Turtle APC. Now I'm aware that this was not a armored personnel carrier in real life, as it was a piece of armor. However, I think it would be very funny to have as an APC, and yes, this is a meme suggestion. The rest of the video is somewhat serious though. However, why not have a bit of fun? Because just imagine, right, you have an APC, but it comes with 1 person in the squad, and you have to crawl to the area and you cannot go fast. It would be the shittest thing ever, and it would be amazing in my opinion. Next up, we have the Japanese National Defense Rifle, which was built to defend the home island of Japan from, of course, getting invaded by the American, British, and Soviets. However, it never got to see use, probably for the best. However, of course, we can, I suppose, bring the world to chaos and give the Japanese this rifle for probably BR1, if I'm being honest. Now a little Japanese tankette, the Armored Trike, which is basically a tricycle with a turret on it, and it is absolutely awesome. Alright, but that brings an end to the video, so thank you for watching. Please subscribe, hype the video, like the video, comment if you choose. And yes, thank you for watching to the end, and have a blessed day.